Here's a confidence interval example. Let me lead you through it. A travel magazine conducts an annual survey where readers rate their favorite cruise ship. Ships are rated on a 10-point scale, with higher values indicating better service. A sample of 40 ships that carry fewer than 500 passengers resulted in an average rating of 6.14 with standard deviation 0.88. A sample of 30 ships that carry more than 500 passengers, these are bigger ships, right? These are ships that carry fewer. So small ships and big ships resulted in an average rating of 6.56, a little higher for the bigger ships. They have more stuff, I guess, with standard deviation 0.84. Give a 95% confidence interval of the difference between the population mean ratings for smaller ships and the population mean ratings for larger ships. Note the order of subtraction matters. Look at the wording carefully. Okay, so what are we supposed to do here? This is a confidence interval for population mean. Let's look at our notes. So going to the exam 4 notes. So we are talking about two independent means. Not proportions, right? It said means. Population means, mean ratings. So not proportions, no, means. Two groups are not matched in pairs, right? There's no matching of pairs here. They're independent. Use the two-sample t-test if you're doing a hypothesis test, or a two-sample t-interval. That'll be us, because we're doing a confidence interval. Does that make sense why it says you're going to use either this or this? This is if you're doing a hypothesis test, but we're doing a confidence interval. So for a confidence interval, you do the two-sample t-interval. Let's go do it. Two-sample t-interval. So go to my calculator. I'm going to hit stat. Go over to tests. And go down to two-sample t-interval, which is number 4. No, that's two-sample t-test. I better get my act together here. Two-sample t-interval is 0, actually. It's further to like number 10. It's past 9. 0. Two-sample t-interval. So remember, intervals are for confidence intervals. Tests are for hypothesis tests. I guess that's obvious. Hit enter. So hit enter on that. And then it asks you if you have data or stats. So this is just like what we've done before. Do we have a bunch of data here? No, no data. No list of data. We'll do some of those examples, but we're gonna highlight stats because we don't have data and hit enter. We don't have a list of data. Not on this problem. Some problems we do, not on this one. Okay, and then when we do, it asks us for a bunch of stuff. It says, all right, give me x bar 1 and s sub x1 and n1. And then it wants x bar 2 and sx2 and n2. So let's go get that. And so let's see. So it says the order of subtraction matters. Look at the wording carefully. What wording? The population mean rating for smaller ships. So the difference between, so they want us to take small minus big. See that in the words? The difference, small and larger. So we want the difference, small minus larger. So a sample of 40 ships, they carry fewer. That's small. So that's 40 ships, that's the number. So these are the small ships right here. And these will be the big ships because it told me to put the small ships first. So the small ships are going to be the X1, S, X1, N1. The big ships are going to be the 222. Small ships first, big ships second. They told me to do that. So 40 small ships. The rating was 6.14. It's the average, the mean, average, mean. See the bar here, X bar. And the S sub X, standard deviation, 0.88. And then for the other side, The X2 is average rating 6.56. That's the X bar, average, 6.56. S sub X, standard deviation, 0.84. And how many ships of that? Oh, 30, there it is. 30 ships that carry more than 500 barrels, 30 big ships. So there we go. So put all that information into your calculator. I'm doing that right now myself. And then it wants you to choose the sea level, the confidence level. Do they tell us that? Oh yeah, 95%. Okay, and pooled, we always say no. And hit enter to calculate. So that's all in the notes here. Where's the notes? Sam 4 notes. Pooled, always say no. Right there. Okay. So hit the buttons. All right, and so here's the answer I'm getting. I'm getting an answer, which is probably a little confusing. It says parenthesis negative 0.8337 to negative 0.0063. Now, what does that mean? Let me help with that. That really means, add a page here to make it more clear. That really means that on a number line, probably make it more clear if I do a little number line right here. On a number line, that Arva, here's like 0, whoops, that's not where 0 is. 0 is like over here, because this goes from like, like here's negative 1. We're going from like negative 0.8337 to like right here, negative 0.0063, right? That's kind of the gist of it. So what does that mean? Well, sometimes they want you to give the answer just like this as an interval. But sometimes they want it, and this is one of those times where they want something plus or minus something. How do you change from this kind of an answer? Oh, and they want it rounded to 2 places, don't they? So let me do that before I go any further at all. So cut it here, cut it here. So this will become minus 0.83. And this will become minus 0.01. Do you see that? Because that 6 rounds that to 1. Okay, so minus 0.83 and minus 0.01. Put it right here, minus 0.83 and minus 0.01 rounded to 2 places. So now they want us to give the answer as the middle. This is, whenever they write this, what they're saying is they want you to give the middle plus or minus the air. The middle plus or minus air. So what's the middle? How do we find the middle right here of those 2 numbers? How do you find the middle of 2 numbers? The middle, that's the average, right? You add them and divide by 2. So add them, hit equals. Oops, messing up everything here. Add them, hit enter, and then divide by 2. Right, so I'm going to take the negative 0.83 plus negative 0.01, hit enter, divide by 2, and hit enter again. And we'll see what I get. Negative 0.83 plus 80.1 equals divided by 2. I'm getting negative 0.42. So that means the middle, going back up here, this right here, is the middle, which must be negative 0.42. So that's the middle, negative 0.42. And then they want the air. They want from the middle, how far is the jump this way and how far is it that way? What's the air amount? And you can figure either one. It doesn't matter if you go right or left, whatever. Just to find the air, you find just take the middle minus the left side, for example. Or you could take the right side minus the middle. It doesn't matter, right? You're just trying to find out how far is the jump from the middle, either to the right or to the left. That's the error. That's how far right and left. So the middle, negative 0.42, minus, watch out, easy to make a mistake there, and the left is negative 0.83. See how we got the double negative thing here? Because the left is itself a negative number, and then there's a negative in the formula, right? You're subtracting two things. You're trying to find out how far apart two things are. So that's going to be negative 0.42 plus 0.83, right? Because the double negative becomes positive. And so I'm going to do that on my calculator. I'm getting 0.41. So there it is. That is the error amount. So in other words, we're saying that our confidence interval, which you can say two different ways. You can say it goes from negative 0.83 to negative 0.01. That's a negative there and there. Or you can say the middle of it is negative 0.42, and it goes right and left an error amount of 0.41. That's how they're wanting us to say the answer.